How's it, Bills fans? Welcome to a new episode of the Triple Coverage Podcast here. I am Lance Nelson, president of Built in Buffalo. To my left, Scott Casson. To my right, Benjamin Shoup. The Buffalo Bills schedule is out. We're going to play on Christmas and on New Year's. Going to break down the stretches and everything.
Thanksgiving.
Not New Year's, Thanksgiving. Sorry.
You didn't even make it 30 seconds in before I found something to critique.
I knew you were going to get me. Anyways, so Thanksgiving and Christmas for the Bills, holidays galore, prime times. The new stadium will be shown off with a shiny, or some people think dull, silver structure. And we'll talk a little bit about Mike Danna real quick, just as a current event signing. But first, please let us get in a word from our sponsor, Awaken 180. Hey, Lance Nelson here. I'm 25 pounds down through 6 weeks, halfway through the program with Awaken 180. I've been really impressed with my coach, keeping me on structure, keeping me accountable with my meal plan, the structure, the accountability, and the ease of eating good food. I just had a little bit of pudding before this show, so I'm feeling good, feeling great. And it couldn't be made any easier. There's no drugs, no medication, all natural, eating good food. So do what I did. Schedule your consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800 and get yourself looking good for the opener of Highmark Stadium. All right, gentlemen, let's quick touch on a quick thought of the signing of Mike Danna, versatile defensive lineman here, comes from the Kansas City Chiefs, played his best football in 22-23 area, a couple of not terrible seasons, but sort of down years, 6.5 sacks in 23, at 3.5 in 24, and just one last year. The one last year was against Washington when the offensive lineman didn't even block him and he went free to the quarterback. So a little bit of luck there the last couple of years in the 4.5 sacks he's gotten. Missed a couple of games last year with a quad. So a little bit of soft tissue injury history for him here. First of all, sup, Shoup?
Nothing much. As Sandra put in the comments, Sabres up 3-2, so that's always good. You got the schedule release today, which is always fun. And the Bills did make some small moves this week. But yeah, Mike Danna is an interesting one. It's kind of just, it's another defensive lineman. And for me, it's like, how many guys are we going to have in this room going into camp? Like, that either were drafted or has had a prior experience as a vet somewhere else. Like, these aren't, UDFAs they're bringing in and they're just stocking the room with UDFAs. These are guys that, again, they've either drafted or have been in the league for a little bit and bounced around. So it's just, there's a lot of guys in that room. Add Mike Danna to it. I guess it doesn't hurt though to have more bodies in the room. Just again, like I'm curious to see what this final defensive line room is going to look like come late August.
Yeah, you got to have 90 guys there at camp. Iron sharpens iron, so the best quality guys you can get in is going to be the most beneficial for the team.
Yeah, he's a rotational pass rusher. He might make the team. He might not. He's played a lot of big-time football with the Chiefs, won a couple of Super Bowls with the Chiefs. Like Lance said, his best football seems to be behind him, but, he's a camp body with experience and maybe can help some of the younger guys. So not really thinking too much about it. It's nice to have guys with experience. So, yeah, maybe we see him on the Bills this season. Maybe he's on the practice squad or maybe he gets cut, not moving the needle a ton.
Right on. One other move here is Shane Zylstra, state. He'll be in his 5th year here, played his first 4 in Detroit, caught 4 touchdowns in 2022, and not really much action since then. Scott, any tidbits you'd like to say about Shane Zylstra?
Yeah, probably just a camp body tight end. The Bills' tight end room is probably the most set of any position group on the team with the DK twins and then Jackson Hawes. So they had Latu back as well, who was the practice squad tight end last year. Definitely more of a blocking guy, but again, I would be kind of surprised if he made the team. Went to Minnesota State. You guys name the other NFL player that went to Minnesota State?
No.
Adam Thielen. So
I didn't even know Minnesota State was a team.
They are indeed. They're not FBS. I think they're D2. So cool story that he's been in the league for a few years coming out of D2. But, yeah, probably just a camp tight end. Maybe he'll catch a touchdown in the preseason.
Yeah.
D2, but he's not a Mighty Duck, is he?
Yeah, I don't see this move.
No, because they're Team USA in the Goodwill Games in that one. Except for the third period. Which, by the way, the Ducks should go back to those jerseys. The current Ducks jerseys, the orange traffic cone ones are terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't have too much more to add from Scott. Yeah, it's a camp body. I'd be very shocked if he's anything.
We tried to switch it to hockey for you, bro.
There's a lot.
I gave you a few places to go.
I got a lot going on right now in the nasal area, so I'm a little all over the place this evening. I apologize to everybody, but yeah, I don't really have much.
You're the trooper today. All right. Well, we will move on to the schedule, but first, let's just take a minute to acknowledge our tailgate partner, Big Tree Inn. It's wing night out there. They got a special, you get a large pizza, 10 wings, and a bucket of 5 beers for $47.99. So if you haven't had dinner yet, head on out to the Big Tree Inn and get yourself some wings or great specials that they have going on. 716 Barbershop on Broadway in Depew. Use this QR code to go to the Cut app and book your cut with Dennis and his guys today. A couple of great guys over there with Dennis, and great barbershop to get a good fade if you're into that sort of thing. Again, all about looking good going into this home opener. So you have a couple options. You got Awaken 180 weight loss if you need it. You got a good haircut shop there at 716 Barbershop, and then a shout out to Wingnuts Buffalo as well on Genesee Street. Great guys over there. We're going to be doing some things with them very soon, and excited to see where that takes us. So, all right, Scott, start us off here with the schedule take. What's your first bullet point you want to touch on?
Yeah, I would assume by this point everybody has seen the schedule, so don't have to read it to everybody, but we might as well start with, as you've been hinting, that home opener of the new Highmark Stadium on a Thursday night. What do you guys think about that? I hate Thursday night football. I've been pretty animate about it over the years, but I guess it'll be cool being in prime time. I'd rather have been a Sunday or a Monday, but Thursday, it is what it is. So what are you guys thinking about that? And the Lions, that should be a fun, good game. Just too bad it's on a Thursday.
Yeah, should be a wide open game. And I'm just a little bit disappointed the home opener's not right out of the gate week 1. So I could see you as soon as possible out there at the Big Tree Inn, but I'll take the Thursday. It's the next soonest in week 2 that we can get together and have a good time. So I'm excited for the day, for the tailgate, the whole vibe around it. Leading up, and then it'll be a new walk from the Big Tree and over to the stadium, a little bit of a different vibe there, a little bit of different route to the seats. So got to find the new seats and go from there. So yeah, we'll be, as we get closer to it, we'll be seeing where folks are sitting out there and see if anyone's near us. And as always, be looking forward to anyone that can come out to the Big Tree Inn to party with us prior to the game.
Yeah. The only reason I'm disappointed it's Thursday is because you kind of wish it was like, if it was Sunday night, you get all day to be out there and kind of hang out and enjoy the atmosphere of opening the stadium. Where, I mean, I'm guessing a lot of people, they'll take off work, but
you better take that day off right now.
But like, are people going to want, like, that's the thing, is like, it's going to be tough for some people to take off early for this or get out early. And especially if you're going to the game, then it's all new traffic patterns, and where you're going to park might be different because who knows what's going to go on with the parking because of everything that's going on with the changes and everything. They don't have the lots. They're going to have the same lots that they had last year, everything like that. So it's going to be a chaotic Thursday to open the stadium. But I will say, it's going to be fun though to have Detroit, and I'm not too mad it's not week 1. I really didn't care too much about that. I just was more upset that it's Thursday night over Sunday night. So But yeah, still should be a great opener. But I'm very interested. I'm going to jump right into this game because the opener, Houston being the opener, is just interesting to me because we all know what happened last year, right? It was not exactly the best
Last
to
2
watch.
years.
Yeah, not exactly the best to watch Josh Allen, get beat up the way he has. But yeah, I just think that I'm actually happy it's week 1 because I want to get them over out of the way and have them be the freshest when they're playing them, have them not maybe be beat up like it's week 12, 13 where they're already maybe hurting a little bit. So I'm perfectly fine with it being Houston week 1. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of joked, but I am serious. Like, it's nice to have that get out of the way if, those games have been a little bit fluky and kind of weird. And if there are, injuries or anything, get that out of the way week 1 and hopefully get the squad healthy for the playoffs. And I think that's just, it's going to be interesting to start the season in that building and sort of in that sort of weird, we kind of have all summer now to think about that weird vibe to come in Houston.
Yeah, we typically don't play well in Houston, going all the way back to that 2019 playoff game that they blew. So it'll be a great litmus test to see where they are. I mean, the majority of the core of the team is still the same, but a lot of new faces, specifically new on the coaching side of things. So it'll be a great test to see where they are. Getting them week 1, maybe a little better, like you guys both mentioned, we're not as worn down because I'm not terribly worried about the Texans offense torching our defense, even though the defense is probably going to be a bit of a work in progress then. But that defensive line is just really scary. So getting them early and out of the way, I'm not mad at, but we're going to know a lot about this team after the first Sunday of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have a good enough offense too to sort of give us a good look at what we can expect from the newly tooled and newly schemed defense from Jim Leonard. So it'll be nice to see how they approach the Texans. Although I'm not sure, I guess, if which quarterback you're going to get out of Houston this year. It's kind of been up and down and not completely solid there game after game or year after year. So we'll see how that comes out this year, but I expect them to still be pretty effective and give us a good taste of that. And then, we know what the defense can do. So we'll see if Joe Brady's cooking up anything new for this offense and how early they can get cooking. Expect to see heavy load of James Cook pretty early on in the season to try to get in the flow of things, I would think, and then go from there. So I'll be really excited to see the overall approach of the game.
What's there, 7 primetime games or 6 that we got here? We got 1, 2.
I believe it's 7.
If
you're counting the Saturday one, 7.
To me, that's a primetime. If it's a night game, it's a primetime game. Like, I know that some people will argue against it, but what do you guys think of that? I mean, how many did they have last year? Was it 4 or 5 last year? It was definitely less than 7. I know that
it was less than 7. Yeah.
So
4
I guess
sounds right. 4 or 5.
I guess they're back to putting Buffalo, a lot of weeks on primetime. So, because I remember last year a lot of us being happy that there weren't too many primetime games compared to years past, especially at home. And this year, at home especially, there's at least 3 at home. Who knows about that last week against the Jets? I'm going to guess it's going to be a 1 o'clock game just because it's against the Jets, but who knows? So, what do you guys think about all the primetime games?
Yeah, I love primetime games. I think that it'll be fun to be there as well. I think some of the different thing, it's a different atmosphere. Some of the morning time routine for a 1 o'clock game is pretty nice, but if I don't have to get up at 7 or 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning, then I'm pretty happy about that, actually.
Primetime games are fun. 7's a lot. I dislike that we play 2 Thursdays. One of them being Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I guess, makes it a little bit better. A lot of short weeks with a lot of our primetime games. So we got Monday Night Football against the Rams, and then we stay out there and play the Raiders on Sunday. a lot of short weeks. The schedule makers, in my opinion, didn't do us any favors. We have that many short weeks, and our bye week is in week 7, and it's not around any of our short weeks. So this team, we were talking about signing depth guys. They may need it with how quick they're going to be playing.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the stat between the short weeks and the distance travel. I think we're like 13th in the league of total distance traveled with this schedule as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see a new head coach, obviously. So how do they handle travel? Are they going to do anything differently with how this team prepares to go on the road and different short week routines? I'll be interested to see how Joe Brady handles that versus what McDermott had done in the past.
Yeah, I would imagine they would stay out west between that Rams and Raiders. There's no West Coast version of the Greenbrier, but I'm sure they can find a place to stay. It wouldn't make sense to go all the way back and forth on a short week. Yeah, the scene also Thanksgiving and Christmas. You alluded to it earlier, Lance. I'm kind of mixed about them. Like, going to the game on Thanksgiving will be a lot of fun. They've played on Thanksgiving 3 times over the last handful of years, but none of them have been at home. None of them have been at home. All been on the road. First time it's against the Chiefs, who, Chiefs, Ravens, take your pick, but the Chiefs probably our biggest rival over this Josh Allen era. So it'll be a good time, but also, a little torn on, sitting on the couch watching all the other games and hanging out with the fam. So
Sure.
which of those games are you more excited for? And what are your thoughts on, maybe the Bills changing our holiday plans?
Absolutely hate Christmas, man. The NFL just doesn't belong on Christmas.
Well, bah humbug to you too.
It's, it is what it is. I'm glad it's away.
It's an NBA holiday.
I'm glad it's away, but I always liked watching, the Knicks or Jordan or somebody like that on Christmas. And, it's all good. I mean, it's going to be a 425 game against the Broncos on the road. So, not going to get to Denver this year as I was maybe hoping to, but all good. And Thanksgiving, I'm pretty excited about. As soon as we found out Thanksgiving, literally everybody texted Scott that we're going to fry a turkey. We already got a turkey. We already got a guy bringing a turkey. We already got a guy securing a turkey fryer. So we're all revved up. Ben, you got to bring some good side. I don't know, green bean bake. What are you gonna make? Do you have anything fancy?
Sorry to cut you off, Lance, but actually you're going to have to bring something because you're going to have to bring a birthday cake. Because it is my birthday that day as well. So
all right.
I actually am pretty happy about that. I always love my birthday being on a game day. It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
And especially
Thanksgiving and birthday.
Having the day already off is an added plus. So I'm super excited about the Thanksgiving game. I've always loved Thanksgiving games, even when they're away. I know some people don't love them. I personally love Thanksgiving when they play on Thanksgiving. Christmas.
So are we gonna do pie because it's Thanksgiving, or you're gonna do birthday cake? You like the chocolate chip cookie cake? Where are you going with?
So I'm not a pie guy, but obviously we can have pies there. You can have, gotta have some pies there. But we'll have to figure something out to bring to the tailgate and everything. But yeah, I'm excited about the Thanksgiving game. Christmas though, yeah, I'm similar to you, Lance. I'm not upset necessarily they're playing on it just because they're away. But yeah, if they were home, that's probably the worst day, last day I'd want to ever be at home in the Bills Stadium. Probably the only day I'd rather be somewhere else than in the Bills Stadium. But yeah, I think it will be fun. I'm glad it's 4:30 though, especially for people like me or anybody else that on Christmas Day wake up. I have to drive then 2.5 hours away to go see other family. A lot of people I know do travel on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So I guess 4:30 gives you a little bit of wiggle room to be able to make that trip. So, yeah, Christmas, it's whatever this year, I guess. Not the worst, not the best, but Thanksgiving, I'm definitely very excited for.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not going to hate on Christmas all that much. It's going to be nice to be able to watch the team, and like the game being at 425 is decent. But yeah, it's just the idea. It's just the idea, man. That the NFL is, definitely taking advantage of every single day they can play. And just like Scott says, with the different short weeks and Thursday night football, it is going to change the product on the field as well. So hopefully, Fridays don't count as short weeks anymore, I guess. Right. But still, going to be less days in between games than the normal 7. So
yeah, and I think they're going Saturday the week before against the Bears, so it's kind of 2 short weeks in a row.
right,
You got Sunday to Saturday, Saturday to Friday.
you got a Sunday night game to a Saturday night game to a Friday night game, Friday evening.
Yeah.
So
If nothing else, this team will definitely be tested by the time they get to the playoffs. Just a lot of tough teams and not a lot of rest and a lot of big time games, and like they're not going to shy away from the moment because they've been in prime time, damn near the whole season. So I guess that could be a plus.
yeah, not a lot. There's not going to be a ton of. We'll see what November 1st looks like. But if we're looking at the home games here, selfishly, right, you're going to have 1:00 after the home opener. You're going to have 1:00 against the Chargers on the 27th of September. Should be a beautiful day. Hopefully October 4th again, 1:00 against the Patriots, maybe at least in the vicinity of having some beautiful weather there. And then you have November 1st against the Ravens at 1. That's a toss up, and everything else is at night, basically, when at home. From there, it's, I'm sorry, the 22nd, the Dolphins sneaking in there. So there's going to be a little bit after that. It's at night, and you're going to have three games there of decent
after that Dolphins game, not even just home, you have only one o'clock game after that Dolphins game in general. I mean, obviously, like I said, the Jets can be a 1:00 game, but I mean, after that Dolphins game, you go 8:20, 4:25, 8:20, 8:20, 4:30. Like, it's weird times, different times. I mean, that's, I guess, a good part is they'll have the, I guess, amount of games at each time where, some teams don't play that well at night compared to at 1:00 or 4:00. Some teams play better at certain times. They'll be able to get a chance to play at all times and kind of be ready and prepared and have an idea of how they're going to prepare for any playoff game at any certain time. So, yeah, a lot of night games, a lot of not even 1:00 games. What do you guys think? I know we were going to get into this next. I know my answer, but I'll go last. What is the toughest, I guess, 3-5 game stretch that you guys are looking at that you're saying this is going to need to be the biggest point in the season?
I would imagine we'll all have the same one, but for me, it's starting on Thanksgiving, ending on Christmas. Like that whole holiday season, the entire free-form 25 days of Christmas, plus the countdown to the 25 days of Christmas. Hope everybody knows what I'm talking about there. I would say is going to be our toughest stretch because you got the Chiefs and then going to the Pats, to the Packers in a primetime game, short week against the Bears, who were a playoff team last year and in theory should only be getting better, DJ Moore revenge game, and then another short week, Broncos, who took us out last year in the playoffs on Christmas. So that's going to be a huge 5-game stretch for this team, and a lot of those games are on short weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the beginning 5 games is going to be challenging just with Houston on the road, but then you do have 3 straight home games and then LA on the road. Those 5 games aren't going to be a cakewalk, but at least playing at home for 3 of them in a row should help a little bit, but it is going to be sort of a finding yourself type of first 5 games, and they're not necessarily all the easiest teams to play against. I think we talked about the Texans thing, and Lions are going to be wide open. And then who knows, which Chargers team is going to show up, I'm not sure. And if they're going to be, decent or sort of a walkover, I doubt it's going to be a super easy game. And then the Patriots are going to be a tough game again, week 4. And then the Rams are obviously good in their own right as well. So I think there's going to be an early test for those 5 games, and it may be not as tough because the 3 are at home, but you're still going to be figuring yourself out though. So there is that element of, there is a new head coach, a new defensive coordinator. Figuring all those things out during that 5-game stretch is going to be a tall task for them to do. But if they can make it through, 3-2 or 4-1, that'll be a pretty good start to the season to head into Vegas and then get their bye week from there. But I do agree that, you have that KC through Denver stretch that is going to be a little bit of a bear with the Bears in there. No pun intended.
The only reason I'm going to go with the first 5 games is only like you said, Lance, it's that get through the first few games with a new coach. It's a new scheme on defense. Everything's new in those terms. And yeah, these are tough teams that you're playing to start the season. If you get off to a rocky start, I mean, the division could be gone by week 5 if you don't play this well. If you start out 2-3 or 1-4 and you lose that game to the Patriots, that means you're already down a game to the Patriots. And depending on what the Patriots do, if they're 4-1, 5-0, and you're 2-3, 1-4, and already a game behind in the division and head to head, that's tough. I do think when you're looking at face value of which games should be harder, those 5 games from the Chiefs to the Broncos should be harder. Those teams in general as 5 are better. But I mean, it's going to be tough. It really is because, like I said, if you start 2-3, I know you kind of got the Raiders and the Vikings and the Jets in your next 4 out of those, but it's tough to claw your way back to win a division if you're going to start off slow. So,
I mean, I think it's an interesting thing because you're going to be feeling yourself out the first 5 weeks. They are not necessarily super easy, but you are at home, and then the Bills do historically have played their best football during when they're going to have their toughest stretch. So that end of November, December timeframe is when they have shown the ability to go on a run and be at their best. So we'll see if that continues this year under new leadership. But the one thing they have going for them in that toughest stretch of KC to Denver is that they typically are then firing on all cylinders and playing their best football.
Yeah. Well, the other reason I said that those 5 is 3 of those first 5 games are at home, which I don't love. 3 of the first 4 being at home with only 8 home games this year. Yeah. 3 of your first 4 at home, and I'm going to do some quick math. So forgive me if I pass out, but that means, that only 5 of your last 13 games are at home. So this team's going to be doing a lot of traveling. And, down the stretch from December 6th through the end of the year, it's only 2 home games. One of them's the Jets. So 1.5 home games because they don't really fully count. So it's not ideal by the schedule makers there either, just by, front loading the home games when you'd much rather have those later in the year.
I do think that
I want to see the heated grass.
I think this Patriots game is going in week 4 could be the biggest game of the year. Generally, because even look at last year, they dropped the early game to the Patriots, and that was before we knew what the Patriots were. Obviously, again, the Patriots can take a step back by all means. They could fall apart this year. Obviously, they've had a pretty interesting offseason, to say the least.
Why? What happened?
I'll tell you when you're older. The Patriots are like, if you go into that game though, and you're 2-1, and they're 2-1 or 3-0. And you drop that game, it's going to be huge, and you're going to be then fighting an uphill battle the rest of the way to catch the Patriots. So, what game, individual game, do you have an individual game that you think is the biggest game this year? If you just had to guess, what's going to be the biggest one?
The next one.
All right, 1-0 every week, right, Joe Brady?
0-0 with 1 to go.
Yep. What do you think, Lance?
St. Lawrence. The one year we went 0-10. And we were always
I don't disagree that October 4th or even the December 6th could be, December 6th, things will be a little bit more
clear,
unfolded. You can have more of a clarity on the race and what you need to do. So I think it sets up well to have the Dolphins and Jets to finish the season. So if you need a couple of games in hand, you're going to have them there potentially. So I'd like the way that's set up, that part of it. But I do look at if, the thing we always talk about is how is that number 1 seed going to play out? And so that game on Thanksgiving on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs could potentially be set up as one of those tilts that's going to sort of give one team the edge or another to get towards that 1 seed.
Yeah, it's very possible that the Bills play 5 or 6 playoff teams just in the AFC on the schedule. So you mentioned the 1 seed. If they take care of business, that'll really help that'll really help them in their track for the 1 seed because they're most likely going to be beating the teams that are also going for it. Because you look at this, Texans, they were a playoff team last year, should be
Absolutely.
this year. Chargers, same thing. Patriots, same thing. Chiefs weren't a playoff team last year. You got to imagine they're going to bounce back this year, at least a little bit. Got none of the Pats again. The Broncos, they were the 1 seed. The Ravens, yeah, they weren't a playoff team last year. They probably will be this year because, knock on wood for them, not going to deal with as many injuries. So the playoffs and the 1 seed goes through Buffalo because you play all the damn teams.
Yeah.
The goddamn Jets.
That's right. Who are you rooting for, sweetie?
That's the real team you should be watching out for the 1 seed, right, Scott? Jets?
Because they won the
One
draft.
pick,
You
maybe.
listen to a lot of people, right?
They also won
Yeah.
it 3 years ago when they had 3 first-round picks, right? And are any of those guys still on the team? One of them, or 2 of them still on the team? Is it just Sauce that left that year?
Jermaine Johnson's still there.
And then the other one was Garrett. Was it Garrett Wilson that year? No, that was the year.
Garrett Wilson, yeah, I believe it was.
Well, either way, it didn't exactly turn their franchise around that year, and I have I have a very low chance. I think that this will change them again because they are the New Jersey Jets. Sorry.
All right. Is there a single game you're most did we already? I don't think we did this. Is there a single game you're most excited to attend?
Yeah, the next one. Oh, a 10.
I'm gonna say mine's gonna be the Thanksgiving just because it's my birthday and it's Thanksgiving.
Heck yeah.
And it's the Chiefs.
For me, the first one.
Yeah.
Just see the new stadium, see the people who only exist to me in the world of Buffalo Bills tailgates, who I don't see any other time of the year. You guys excluded. I see you guys enough, but all the other like auxiliary characters.
I wouldn't say it's enough.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't see you guys enough, but yeah, you're right. But like all the auxiliary people who you see at all the games, and it really is like a good like a family you have going on there. So really excited for the first one. Yeah, see the new stadium. It'll be a Thursday. We're all going to play hooky from work. Yeah, the first was going to be a lot of fun.
The first thing I said at work today is I'm not coming in September 17th. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, I put it on my
that out of the way.
As well.
I do think the Bears one will be good as well because it's I at least have never been to a game, at least that I can remember, that you the next day for sure don't have work.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Some people might go a little crazier that game, especially because it's cold. It's going to be cold. It's going to be winter.
I don't know if that's possible.
That's true. They already obviously do.
We got to get some Ditka folks, people that are dressed up as Ditka or otherwise, on the on the tailgating show. Get some content with them. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Schwarsky.
But
all right.
Overall, interesting schedule, in my opinion.
Like front loaded with home games, like Scott said. So
didn't do many favors for the Bills this year.
I do want to say one last thing before we move on, just how stupid the schedule release is in the NFL. Like, the teams you're playing for years in advance. There's only like a handful of games that are determined by the record. So we've known who they've been playing since Tyler Luke missed that field goal. And then it's, the schedule comes out on Thursday. But then you start getting leaked games on Monday, and even more on Tuesday, and a few more on Wednesday. And then by noon today, everybody has the whole schedule. So, like, I get it. It, like, kind of builds buzz as it comes out. But just, like, either release it all at once or just say what it is and that it's not the schedule release day is not the schedule release day. Like, it's always just – I get why they do it, but it's just so stupid.
Yeah. Nobody's watching the schedule release show on any primetime network right now. When you have the Sabres, we have the Sabres game, the NHL playoffs in general. So it's like I don't know what they're getting out of any sort of TV deal or anything with the schedule release program, but I definitely agree it could change and would be nice just to do it as a release with teams doing their videos and posting their schedules and move on.
Yeah.
It's also 3-3 now in the Sabres game with 6.5 left.
7.
Sabres are on the power play here, so we'll see what happens. All right, guys, you want to give a initial record prediction after seeing the schedule?
Yeah, it's always tough to gotta give predictions, but with the Bills, they've been around the same mark every year. I do think, again, the floor might be 10 games this year. Maybe 9 just because it's a new coach, but I'd still say 10. Just dying over here. Sorry, Scott, I sneezed, so that's why I paused.
Sorry. I was going through like game by game.
I don't even know what I was going to say, so you go ahead.
I think anywhere from 11-6 to 13-4 are all pretty realistic. Take you kind of through my mental gymnastics. Have them starting 4-2 in that first period of the season, and then in the middle, 3-2 or 4-1. I think makes a lot of sense. And then down the stretch, the last 6, same thing. Maybe 4-2, 3-3 at the worst. So they're going to be a good team. There's no question about that. Hopefully, it's closer to 13 than it is 11. But I think anywhere in there is pretty realistic. But again, we knew that before today because we knew the teams that were playing since January.
Yeah, I'm going to go 12-5. I think that I would typically probably go 13-4 here, but there is a little bit of the newness to the team, and we'll see how that road start treats them. So I'm going 12-5 with them, but I think they can win as many as 14 games probably, but probably not less than 11 on the season. Just with Josh Allen at your quarterback, I think that gives you the best chance to keep, even though there's some change over here. I think they're still going to be able to keep a high level of play.
Scott, you kind of just made me think of this question. I guess this last question I got is the schedule coming out. We like you said, we knew the opponents before. Does the schedule now make you more or less confident? And it might not be by a lot. It might be a little less, a little more confident in how many wins they can get. To me personally, it's a little bit less. Still, I still think they're around that 11, 12. But with how difficult, I think this is a tough schedule. So I'm saying a little bit less confident.
The only reason I would say a little bit less is just like we talked about earlier, all the short weeks. They're going to have a lot of games against pretty good teams where the other team's going to have more rest than them. Other than that, not really. But yeah, I would say a little less as well for that reason.
Yeah, I agree. I think like I mentioned, the schedule plus the new coaching staff and things like that has me at 12-5, where I typically just pick 13-4 at this stage of the year each year as just a tradition, but docked them down to 12-5 for this one. And we'll see. Hopefully they prove me wrong and hit it higher, because probably not getting the 1 seed at 12-5. So going to probably need 13 or 14 there.
Yeah, agreed. But good news for us, the teams that were ahead of us last year, the Broncos, the Patriots, are going to have harder schedules this year where they finished in the division. So you never know.
Yeah. Just cleaning stuff up. They are 13th in total miles traveled here in this schedule, but that was known before the schedule was released, because again, the opponents were already known, but worth mentioning. And with that,
on the West Coast, that takes 3,000 miles off.
Yeah, maybe. Scott beat me to it. Dang.
Too good.
Great minds.
All right, guys. Anything else? I think we're going to get out of here, get you guys over to the Sabres action. Still 3-3. Shock. They didn't score on the power play again. And let's see how this Game 5 goes. Pivotal Game 5 against Montreal. But tune in for Two Goalies, One Mic postgame after with Dwayne and Hurls. And then we'll see you guys next week at 7 p.m. each and every Thursday here on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network. Again, thank you to Awaken 180 Weight Loss, Big Tree Inn, Wingnuts Buffalo, and 716 Barbershop. Go Bills, go Sabres.
Go Bills, go Sabres.
Go Bills.